snack. Me and you gonna have a little chat about books. Hi guys, so I am here today to do my October wrap up. It is crazy that October is over, but it means that we are reaching the end of the year, which is always a great and magical time. I love autumn, I love Christmas. Everything exciting is coming up from now on. I had a really good reading month, but particularly a great bookish month because I went to FantasyCon, and I don't know if all of you guys have seen my video about that. If not, I will put a link to it and you can go and watch it. I really had a great time at FantasyCon. It was the first convention I went to, and I picked up lots of free books, and I did buy a few books, so I did an entire haul video in that same video. So I'll put a link to that video and you guys can go and check it out because it has all of my little con experience and then also all of the books I picked up at the con. So if you're wondering why you can see new books, that's why. Moving on to what I read, I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to show you guys the books and tell you my rating, and then I will talk a little bit more in detail about some of the ones that I really enjoyed. There will be reviews coming up for all of these. As always, I'm very behind because of uni. Hopefully you'll see the reviews coming up fairly soon. In the month of October, I managed to read 5 graphic novels or single issues and 18 different novels, which I'm very happy about. Starting with the graphic novels or single issues, the first one I read is issue 1 of Lady Mechanica by Jo Benitez. I really enjoyed this, gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars and fully plan to continue with the series. Then I picked up From Under Mountains, which is a book which is by Gibson, Leong and Churchland. This is issue 1. It's kind of a spin-off series from the 8 House series, and I really love the art style. Very intrigued by where the story is going. I gave this one a 3 out of 5 stars. Looking forward to picking up issue 2, which I believe is now out. I then read volume 1 of Bitch Planet, which unfortunately just didn't really ring that true with me. It just wasn't as good as I was hoping for. I'd heard a lot of great things, but it wasn't for me. I don't think I'll be continuing the series. Gave it a 2.5. It was okay. Then I read Supreme Blue Rose, which is by Warren Ellis and Chula Latay. I loved this. It's a bit of a weird sort of sci-fi-esque story with parallel dimensions and all sorts of crazy stuff coming into it. It is a little bit of a weird one, but the artwork is incredible, guys. I love it so much. It is so perfect, like utterly perfect. I just adored it the whole way through. I thought it was beautiful. Anything that Chula Latay brings out, I'm definitely going to be picking up in the future because she's just fantastic and I love her stuff. And yeah, I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars, so would recommend this one the most out of all the graphic novels I picked up this month. And then finally, the last graphic novel, or single issue rather, that I picked up is issue number 15 of Wicked and the Divine. This one has the guest artist's hands, and I wasn't a huge fan of it. It was alright. I gave this a 3.5. It was likeable. I finished Reaper's Gale, which is book number 7 in the Malazan Book of the Fallen series by Stephen Erickson. Gave this a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I then read The Lord of the Rings sketchbook by Alan Lee, which is essentially all of the concept art that Alan Lee did himself for Lord of the Rings. Fascinating, stunning, beautiful. So I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. It was fantastic. I would highly recommend this if you're interested in art or concept art in particular. This is a great little example of what you have to do and what quality you need to get it to in order for it to be part of the movie and whatever. So really enjoyed this. Then I read City of Dragons, which is by Robin Hobb. This is the 3rd one in the Rainwild Chronicles. Really enjoyed this one. It was my favourite one in the series, although the Rainwild series is not my favourite series of hers, but it was definitely my favourite one of the series of the Rainwilds, and I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. Then I finished up the series with Blood of Dragons, which I gave a 4.5 stars to. Still very good, but not quite as awesome as the 3rd. I then read Shadows of Self by Sanderson. I liked this. I thought it was fun. It was easy to get through, but I did have a few problems in terms of pacing, in terms of twists that I guessed and things like that. So 3.5 stars for that one. I then finished up some of the BookTube SFF. I read Heir of Fire, which I gave a 2.5 stars to. It definitely wasn't my favourite one in the series. I then read Warhorse by Michael Morpurgo, as I needed to read it for a project I am currently doing. I had never read it before. It's very short, like 100 and something pages, and it was incredible. It really emotionally moved me and I really liked it, and I fell straight into the story and loved it. So I gave that 4.5 stars, and yeah, it's great. I then read Lock In by John Scalzi. It was my first John Scalzi and I was really excited. Unfortunately, it didn't quite live up to the hype and awesomeness that I've heard about him. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. I then read The Art of the Hobbit, which is by Wayne G. Hammond and Christina Scull. Liked it. It was definitely interesting in terms of Tolkien and in terms of the way that he did things and sort of showing you the behind the scenes. I gave it a 4 stars overall. I then read 12 Kings by Bradley Beaulieu, and I so enjoyed this. It was fantastic throughout, really great female character lead and also some great secondary characters. Very adventurous, very, very fun. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I then picked up Skin, which I was sent for a review from Holoscape. This is by Ilka Tamki, and I gave this a 3.5. It had the makings of some very good ideas, but didn't quite go to the length I would have liked. Was a very interesting culture though, so 3.5 seems like an accurate and fair rating. I then read A Tolkien Tapestry, Pictures to Accompany the Lord of the Rings by Cor Block, and this one is mostly focused on Cor Block himself. Really enjoyed it though, and I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. I then picked up Death of Dulgath, which is the newly released book by Michael J. Sullivan in the Rieria Chronicles. I backed it on Kickstarter. I was very excited to finally get a copy. I should have a hardback copy coming in the post at some point too, but I, for now, have the ebook version. And I really loved this. It was great. It was a fantastic little story of Hadrian and Royce. Again, I love returning to them. They are fantastic characters and Sullivan is a fantastic writer. So I gave that a 5 out of 5 stars, and I would definitely recommend that you guys check out the Rieria Revelation series and then the Rieria Chronicles series, because they are both awesome. I then finished up all of my BookTube SFF reading with The Goblin Emperor by Catherine Addison. I did this as a buddy read with Mercedes. We both thought it was likeable, but nothing really more than that, and so I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I then read The Fell Sword, which is by Miles Cameron. This is book 2 in the Traitor Son series, and oh my goodness, it is so good. I really, really love this series. So as soon as I finished this, I went out and bought the 3rd one, which just came out. I love this. I gave it a 4.5. It's set in a world where the wild has to face man, and in the wild you have all sorts of terrible, creepy things, creepy monsters, animals that are kind of humanoid, and it's all very weird, all very magical, but very, very cool in the fight scenes as well. Miles Cameron is actually a historical fiction writer, and he writes fight scenes incredibly well because of that, because he has a real understanding, and that comes across in the book, which means I'm never confused in a fight scene. Something very, very good and high praise for an author is not to be confusing with fight scenes, because they can get really messy, and Miles Cameron's definitely don't. This one did focus a little bit more politically than the first one. It had more focus on the battle between man and man as opposed to man in the wild, but I have a strong feeling that due to the ending of this, the 3rd one is going to be pretty epic. So I gave this a 4.5. I would recommend the series highly. I then read Return of the Crimson Guard, which is by Ian Esselmont. This is the 2nd one in the Malazan Empire series, and it was the book I was reading this month with my Goodreads group. I liked it more than I liked the first one, but I still didn't love it. I think that Esselmont's pacing is better, it's quicker, it's easier to get through, but I don't connect as well with his characters, so I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars. I then listened to the audiobook for The Broken Eye by Brent Weeks. I loved this so much. It was definitely the best one in the series so far, although I loved the second as well. I just thought this was incredible. There were so many twists I did not anticipate, and so much great magic system stuff going on. It was incredible. I love it, and I need the 4th one, and it's not out yet, so I've got to wait for the 4th one. Hugely anticipating it and very excited, and I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. Would 100% recommend this series. It is incredible. It just gets better and better book by book. And then the final one that I managed to finish is the 2nd book in this one, which is The Restaurant at the End of the Universe. This is a bind-up of the 4 first books in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams, but I only read the 2nd one this month, which is The Restaurant at the End of the Universe. Definitely enjoyed it. Didn't quite love it as much as the first one, so I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars, and I read it with lots of cool people who I will link down below. I would love to hear what you guys like out of what I have read. If you have read any of the books that I have read, then definitely leave me your comments. Do you agree with the ratings I gave? Did you give it a different rating? Did you like it, hate it, what? If you guys have any recommendations based off of the ones that I love, then definitely leave them down below as well. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all very soon in another video. Bye! Me and you gonna have a little chat.